Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing good. It's Mr. Chester. We're back today. We are going to finish siding our wall. You helped me prep it the other day. We installed our J channels. We installed our soffit materials to close off our soffit. We installed our corner boards. So now we're ready to install our siding. We're going to install vinyl siding. Now, vinyl siding is obviously made out of vinyl. There are different types of siding. We have wood siding, which would have to be painted. You have masonite or fiber cement or hardy plank siding that's made out of fiber cement. You can get that in pre-colored pieces as well. We're going to install vinyl. It's affordable. It is, you don't have to paint it, and you can get it in a wide variety of colors. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Alright, so we're back, guys. I'm going to show you a little bit about your siding, but before we do, just remember, anytime you're using power tools or hand tools, make sure you got your PPE on, your safety glasses, your work boots, your work appropriate pants, and if you have anything loose hanging from your clothes, tuck it in. Any strings, make sure they're tucked in. Any necklaces, just tuck them in or take them off. You don't want to get anything damaged by a moving power tool, including yourself. So to get started, we're going to talk about our siding. So typically it comes in 8-inch wide pieces. There are different widths. This is a more standard size, and it comes in 12-foot 6-inch lengths. So the way our siding works is, as you can see, it has this tab and it has this hook. So when we install it on the wall, we're going to nail this tab, and then we're going to hook our piece right onto it, so they're interlocked. So once our top tab is nailed, that's going to hold our bottom piece on, and the pressure by pulling up is going to keep that from coming undone. So a couple things when nailing our siding. Vinyl expands and contracts a lot, so in the winter it might shrink because it's cold out. In the summer and 90-degree heat, it might expand. So the reason for these little slots being cut so big is that it's going to move. So when we nail it, you're not going to nail your nails tight. You're going to leave them out just a little, like 1/8 of an inch. You want your siding to move, and I'll show you how we do that in a minute. Also, so our bottom piece, if we were just to nail our top piece on the wall when we start, the top of our piece, if we were just to nail that and nail this on for a bottom row, our bottom wouldn't be secure. So what I previously did was I installed what we call starter strip. So our starter strip works by, I just nailed it on. I snapped the line level with our shed. I carried the corners around so they all line up, and then we'll put our siding on, and it locks in our bottom piece. So as you can see, it just keeps it from coming out. If I weren't to lock that on, your piece is going to flap in the wind, it's going to curl. So by putting our starter strip on, it gives our first row a nice secure fit. As I just said too, we carried that line right around our corner board. So as you can see, our corner board's right there. What I did was I just took a speed square and I carried the line from this row right around our corner. Sorry if you can't see, it's a little sunny, but I hope you get the idea. So we're going to get started installing it. First I'm going to find my studs. Remember, we laid our wall for our structure is laid out 16 inches on center. So I just want to go back, and I'm only going to find a few studs, and I'm going to show you why. So I'll find one on this end of the wall, one on the middle, and then one on the other end. So hang tight and I'll show you why I'm doing that. Alright, so we're back again. The way I found my studs, the first couple, was I just curled back the Tyvek, popped a couple staples, and I found where the nails were into our plywood sheathing, into our studs. So then I marked that on the house wrap and re-stapled it and marked my 3 studs. So getting back to the siding, what we're going to do first is I'm just going to show you how this works. So as you can see, sorry. So our siding, you see how that, it's kind of sunny out, but our siding has a cut end, or a factory end on each side when it comes out of the box. It has those little notches on the left and right side so they can overlap. Same on the bottom. They're notched on the back. The reason that is like that is so when you overlap them, because you want to overlap them, you don't want to just butt the ends together. You want to overlap them so they, when they expand and contract, they have room to move, but you don't want the joint to open up and expose your wall. So I'm going to put this in and I'm going to click it. So our manufacturer recommends we keep about a 3/4 space between those tabs. That way when it's nailed on the wall, it's going to have room to slide back and forth. Any questions? Alright, so I'm going to start cutting my pieces. So I'm going to start with a full piece, but you don't want to have all your seams line up in a straight line up the wall. That just doesn't look good. So we're going to start with a full piece, and then each piece after that I'm going to cut 2 feet off. So I'm going to start with a full, a 12'6", then I cut 2 feet off of that. Then the next one I'm going to cut an additional 2 feet off of that. Then I'm going to cut another 2 feet off of that. So I'm going to cut 2 feet off, then 4 feet, then 6 feet. I'm going to get a repeating pattern of 3 or 4 and continue to do that so my lines don't all line up. Now, one other thing is, it doesn't generally matter which side you start from, but what I like to do is I step back and look at the wall I'm siding, and I say to myself, which side is most visible, because they're overlapped. So that side I'm pulling in from my driveway, so my right side's more visible. So I'm going to start with my left side, and I'll show you in a second, because when you're looking at it from the right side, the left side will be tucked under the right side, the right piece of siding, so you don't catch the edge of the siding when looking at it. So I'm going to start cutting my pieces and install them, then I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. Alright, so I cut my starter pieces. Also, I just want to make a point. So I'm starting from my left. So when I cut my starter pieces, remember I said each piece has a factory end with notches on it so that it sets the pieces up to overlap each other. Because our starter pieces are going up against that corner board, we're going to cut, when we cut our 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet off, we're going to cut that off the left side, because we don't need a factory notch on that side for our piece to work. We need it on the right so our pieces can receive each other. Now, also, once you cut those pieces, don't throw away your the extra material. We'll use those to finish off the ends of our pieces. There's going to be little to no waste because everything we cut off to start, we can use it to finish on the other end. So let me set this up. Maybe if school offers a film class, I'll sign up next year. Alright, so I'm going to take my full piece. Let's zoom in here. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's on each tab there's letters, and there's this S that's in a square, and that is our stud finder. What is that, you ask? So our stud finder, so I didn't have to measure every stud out on the wall. What our stud finder does is, as long as we know where one stud is, so for example, I'm going to hook this in. It is generally a little easier to do this on your first piece if you do have an extra set of hands, but I do not. I tried getting Mrs. Chester out here today to help me do this, but she said she had to do online learning with Michaela and Johnny this morning. So I hooked our piece into our starter. I pull it up, it's got a nice grip on it. So what I was just talking about, so earlier I found where the studs were, and I just showed you all those letters that are along with each tab. So for example, my line ends on letter F. So every 16 inches, the siding company, Certainty, we'll give them a shout out, put a letter F every 16 inches. So I'm going to nail that. Remember, like an 1/8 inch out, so it has plenty of room to move. So on every F, I'm going to nail my roofing nail. I use aluminum roofing nails because if a little moisture were to get in behind, the nails won't rust. You won't see rust streaks running down the wall, and the nails will last. So I'm going to go back here, and we landed on another F. I'm going to go over here, and we landed on another F. So I'm going to repeat this process until the whole piece is nailed. Oh, letter F. Always keep your tool belt on too. I've worked with a lot of people that don't like to wear a tool belt. If you get a comfortable one, it's gonna feel like it's not even there. You only want to load it with the tools and fasteners or nails or screws that you need, so it's not too heavy. But if you're just working off tools off the ground, it's not going to be as efficient. You're going to be doing a lot of back and forth, and this is just going to save you work and make your life easier. So I'm going to take my next piece now, and I'm going to lock it in. So the same thing, I'm going to hook it right on. Now, anytime I take my piece of siding, when I hook it onto the previous piece, I hook it in, and I like to make sure it's perfectly in the J is hooked onto our hook. So what I do is I hook it in and I give it a little wiggle. If it slides back and forth nice and free, that means it's hooked in. So in this case, we're good to go. Now our letters might have changed. In this case, on our stud line, it's the letter D. So when I nail, I just pick up on my siding a little and leave my nail head out a little. You don't want to stretch your siding, just pick it up until it's can't go any higher. You don't want to stretch it, just pick it up and see. I'm going to nail that. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to repeat this process until I have all my starters on. Alright, so I'm going to install a finisher piece right now. I'm going to show you how this works. Remember, you want this siding to be able to expand and contract. So when we nail it, I cut it 3/4 short on that tab so the piece has some room to move. And I'm going to leave it about 1/4 short when it goes in the corner board pocket. So it has room to expand in the warm temperatures, and it has room to shrink in the cold. If we were to put it tight right now, and in a month when it's 90 degrees out, it might expand and it's going to buckle and it's not going to look good. It's going to look wavy on our wall. So we're going to put it right on here. So I'm going to give it a hook. Make sure we're not in our J channel, so I'm going to hook that right in. So, and I'm going to find my stud. My stud right here lands on E. So I'm going to nail the letter E. I'm trying to nail right in the middle of the slot, so this has room to move. Nothing will pinch it. Alright, so as you can see, we're here right on my joint, and we nailed that. So we nailed it an 1/8 inch out. So our nail heads are never tight, and it's loose. So as you can see, with the weather and the warmer temperatures, our piece can move. So I'm going to repeat this process now until our wall is covered. Alright, one more thing, sorry to bug you. So remember, we started from our left side, and I said I'd show you why. So we started from our left side. Looking from my backyard, you can see this piece of siding. You can see where the edge is, the way it's overlapped. So we started from the left, so looking from my driveway, my seam is right here, but the way it overlaps, you can't see that edge. It all flows together. So it just, it doesn't matter how you do it, but for me, I like to do it so it's more pleasing to the eye. So the more visible side, I overlap it according to the way I'll be looking at it the most. And then I keep that overlap. I overlap it the same way the entire duration of the wall. All right, hi everyone. We are all set. Our siding is all done, right, Michaela?
Yeah.
Did we finish? Yep. So, check in to our next video and have a great day, right? Say bye, Michaela.
Bye.
Say have a good day.